I'm John from JO Ventures Outdoors, and you're watching TK's Slice of Life.
He's good. He's good. He's a natural.
That's the right one. It was not at all. I didn't know what I was expecting when I started this. I just wanted to tell people about my knives. So.
Hello and welcome to TK Slice of Life. If you would like to be part of the future episode of the program, please contact me at thrifty.kaniffy@gmail.com and we will see about having you on the program. Now let's welcome my guest, John from JO Ventures Outdoors. How you doing, John?
All right. How are you, TK?
I'm doing fantastic.
Yeah. It's great.
I'm really glad to have you on. And I guess it's been, 10 months now you've been on YouTube actively?
Yep.
I probably only learned about you maybe 3 months ago.
Mm-hmm.
So you've been on YouTube for 10 months now. Have you been pleased with the community response thus far? And what do you see for the future of your channel?
Oh, yeah. Thanks. I've been actually very surprised. A lot of things about this experience has surprised me because I never expected to make friends the way I have. Like yourself and Tom from Knife Delights, and get all the support that I've gotten, from Tobias Gibson and from RJ at RJ's Knives and Pete from Jersey Knife Guy. I mean, I've just gotten so much support, and the community part of YouTube has really shocked me. I just didn't see that coming. I actually didn't really know what I was getting into. it was suggested to me. I was showing some knives to some family members, and which I'm sure kind of bored them a little bit, but they actually enjoyed it some. But they said, one of them said, hey, you should start a YouTube channel and tell people about your knife collection. That's how it started. But as far as the future of the channel, I want to continue to put out content regularly each week on my knife collection, on participating in the traveling knives that channels like Knife Delights and North Star Knife Reviews have sponsored. I really enjoy that. Showing more of my leather projects. And one thing I really like to do more of in this year is actually venture outdoors. As my name suggests, I'd like to kind of show more of hikes and what am I carrying that day. And I have a little Esprit stove, and I make coffee when I'm out there. It's just a way for me to relax. I'd like to share more of that with my viewers. I don't want to stray too much from the knife content and leather content, but because I know they like that, but I'd like to get out a little bit. And because that was one of my original goals, was to do that. And that's why I have the name that I have for the channel, but more, I don't know, just a little easier to show the knives, in a static environment than to be outside and deal with everything. So
just the production of it becomes
the production of it is just a little more difficult outdoors.
Yeah. I think that's kind of a common theme, is a lot of the YouTubers I've talked to have been encouraged to do it from a family member, right?
This is actually my daughter that suggested it, and it's a really fun thing to talk about in the family too. They're like, how's the channel going? And I got stickers, and I gave people stickers, and I've been doing that and talking about the traveling knives and about the things I've experienced, and most people really think that it's very cool, and they watch a couple videos, and some subscribe and some don't, and so it's been an interesting experience, and it seems like I've experienced a lot in just 10 months. It was not at all. I didn't know what I was expecting when I started this. I just wanted to tell people about my knives, so that was kind of it, and get outdoors a little bit. So
I think the one about the 11th month period was when things got fairly serious for me, because I think that was right about the time that I was getting close to that 1,000 mark, and it exploded a lot quicker for me than I ever expected. I know that everybody has their own kind of pace and how much they can put into the channel and so forth. So are you kind of hoping to do that? Are you hoping to get to 1,000 and then do something more, or is that not really a priority for you?
I really don't know. I mean, I'm pretty pleased with the pace I'm at now. I put out maybe 1 to 2 videos a week.
Hmm.
And sometimes, like over the break, I took a little bit of a break from content because I wanted to spend time with family. So I have a day job, and I have a family and that sort of
Right.
thing that I want to spend time with. So, um, and I enjoy the leather project and leather working and the other hobbies like that. So I don't want to get too wrapped up into it, but yet I really enjoy it. So I don't know. I think it would be really cool to be, at a larger subscriber base at some point, but I'm just kind of taking it as it comes. I'm not, overly promoting my channel on other social media venues at all. It's all through YouTube and word of mouth or whatever. So I've just kind of taken it at a slow pace and I'm enjoying it. My videos are fairly short. I mean, they're usually under 10 minutes.
Hmm.
That's by design on my part too. I just enjoy doing that more. Some are a little bit longer, but maybe I'll get into a little bit longer videos at some point, more extensive information about the pieces that I'm showing or whatever. I think what I'm doing now is just really, what I can do at the moment. So
Yeah.
I just
It's kind of where you want to be too.
yeah,
Right.
it's kind of where I want to be, and I enjoy it. So
So
kind of
I've noticed that you've done quite a number of reviews for Warnock Swiss Army knives. Is that the brand that you're
yep.
most passionate about?
Yes, absolutely. That's my number one brand to collect. I'm a sucker for Victorinox and Winger, and I'm not sure how I got into that because I didn't have one when I was growing up. I just thought they were really cool, and then they have so many models. The other thing about Victorinox and Winger, or Vinger, as some people like to call them, it just seems like they're easy to find used at a fairly decent price, and they're a lot of fun to clean up. And so I like to find them at half or less the price than what you would buy them brand new and then clean them up. I scour the garage sales and flea markets and pawn shops, when I can and look for them. And then I've gotten some rare ones. I've traded some rare ones off for others. But yeah, that's my brand right there. I'd say
That's your
Victorinox.
jam, huh?
Yeah, but I'm kind of really getting interested. I don't know if you saw my video lately, but I picked up some Frost. I think those are really cool too, and they're affordable. They have so many different models, and I may get into that a little more as well. This is a sod buster. I got this for $5. I mean,
Right.
the fit and finish on it is just excellent,
Right.
and it's not perfect,
Yep.
but it's kind of cool. I mean, it's got a cool color. It's a design that's well known, the Sodbuster design. It gives me a chance to try that out without spending, more money on a
Yeah.
case or, something more expensive. And I tend to go more budget, my knives and maybe more than other channels. I don't know, but I do have some, more expensive knives, but
Yeah.
not very many in that category. So I don't know. They're just interesting. The other one that I just have two actually at the moment, is Rough Rider, and I've heard a lot from you and from RJ and Pete, especially. That those are just amazing. The ones I've gotten are just incredible for the price. So
Right.
I may have to pick up some more of those as I have the budget, to do so. But Victorinox is that's my thing right there. I love it. And I just picked up this one recently. It's the Voyager. There you go. The Voyager.
The Voyager.
There it has the digital clock on the front. Yeah, it's basically on a climber body, but has this digital clock here. So it has, the corkscrew and has the plus scales. But what's interesting on this one is it has all of the implements on one scale on the back. It has the pin, the tweezers, and the toothpick all on the back. And it
Oh,
also
okay.
has the eyeglass screwdriver. And it has the coveted, of course, full-size scissors on this model, just like the Climber does. But this is discontinued and pretty rare. So, things like that, when I find something like that, it's really cool. And I've got somewhere in here, I've got a Hot Fritz Pocket Pal. That's pretty cool too. Hot Fritz was a department store that bought Victorinox, of course, and sold them, and they're kind of rare when you find a Hot Fritz. Yeah, here's that Hot Fritz, and it's a little Pocket Pal. It has the brass rivets and the brass liners. So it's a little bit older. Like I found this, I have a pawn shop that I go to quite a bit, and he actually trades knives with me. So I take some of the ones that I don't carry very much or not that interested in, and then he trades them out with me. And this was in there. Yeah, I don't know if you can see it or not, but probably can't see the tang stamp. There it is. Hot Fritz. So I saw that in there and I was like, oh, I think I want this one. I think it was like $5 or something. And I made
the Hot Fritz is then a third brand of
it's I don't know what they would call it, a sub brand or a distributor. I think it was distributor.
Okay.
I'd have to check my information on that again, but it's like a distributor of knives. It was I think a department store, if I'm correct. Somebody can correct that in the chat, in the comments if they want to, but I think it was a department store that actually sold them and then had them under their own brand. It's kind of a sub brand was on the knife as well. Then I made this little slip for it. So, I like doing things like that. Like this is a secretary, I believe, and it's got Roseacre Farm on it. So there's also lots of logos and advertising on Victorinox and Winger, and that's really fun too.
Right.
This is an egg producer in southern Indiana. Yeah, the good egg people, so just kind of cool stuff, So, I look for stuff like that, just old knives and clean them up. And I know you and Tom both do that too. And I've learned a lot. It's just fun, just to get something you got it, cheap and it just looked terrible. And then you fixed it up and you carry it and use it and bring it back to life. I just, thinking about the history, of those knives and how they were used. And that means more to me than, buying something brand new. Although I like to get new knives. Who doesn't?
Right.
But, it's, I like that part of it. I think Tom said it too. It's the hunt, and it's like, I think the hunt is almost as enjoyable as finding it. So,
one of the things that, much like Victorinox, where you can fairly readily find knives for very affordable prices, the electrician knife.
Yes. Yeah.
You have so many companies that made them and they're just very plentiful. Yeah. And I think that's probably one of my favorite to get, inexpensively and then fix up. Those are really fun to work on.
I've got one.
Yeah.
Klein. And
Klein one. Yeah.
Yeah. And I got that in trade for a leather project.
Okay.
Several of them I've gotten in trade for leather projects too.
Yeah. And the thing about the electrician's knife, much like the Army knives, is they're very well built. So you're getting, while they may not be very expensive, you're still getting a very stout knife and one of quality, Camillus made tons of them and they have a tremendous amount of history too, which is a bonus, TL29 and everything.
I almost bought a TL29 when I was on break, did some traveling, and I was at a flea market and I almost bought I wished I would have now. He didn't want very much for it and I could have cleaned it up, but I'll probably be on the hunt for more electrician knives. They fascinate me too. And, I like that. I like that multifunction knives, really kind of get to me, because they're so useful. And I'd probably every day carry a Victorinox. Lately, it's been the Super Tinker. And that was one I purchased on eBay used and fixed up.
So what would you say are your favorite Swiss Army knives? What models?
Oh, sure. Yeah. The Super Tinker has become, one of my favorites. It's basically the Tinker, which has the screwdriver on the back. The Tinker has the screwdriver and no scissors. So it's got the basic opening layer, the spare pin blade, and then the screwdriver and the awl. And then the Super Tinker adds the scissors and the parcel hook, the all-purpose hook on the back. So the scissors just come in, so handy. I like the basic Tinker as well. And there's one in here, and cleaned it up. And I've carried this quite a bit. And so that's another one of my favorites, as well as probably the Cadet, the Alox Cadet. I mean, it's so popular. The Alox Cadet is very slim, and it has the opening layer and the main blade, but also the nail file. And I carry it in a homemade slip. But those are my favorite, probably, out of all the Victorinox. But I have many
Super
others.
Tinker, the Tinker, and the Cadet.
Yeah, those are really my favorite. The compact you can't beat the compact, but it's quite expensive.
Mm-hmm.
The compact is 2 layers, and has the scissors, just like the Super Tinker, but it has the combo tool. And so I carry it a fair amount too. It also has the plus scales, although I've taken the screwdriver out to put in something else. But this is an incredible model too. It's a lot more expensive than some of the others. The combo tool, in my opinion, is not as robust as the normal opening layer on your normal Victorinox here, if I can get this in the right place. So that's why I carry the Super Tinker over that, because I get the scissors and I get the robust screwdrivers, and it just gives a little more functionality, but with not much more thickness.
So the scissors are a big player for you then.
Scissors, I think, have come in quite handy, and so I find that to be not a requirement, but very useful, when it comes to carrying the Victorinox. But
so you're becoming kind of well known in the community for creating leather goods, particularly slips and sheaths. What got you into doing that type of work?
Yeah, that's a great question. I started watching YouTube several years ago, and just got onto knife channels and was watching reviews, and I'd see people make organizers, kind of like this. And I was like, I'd like to have one of those. That sounds, you put a flashlight in them. This holds a mini mag light in the Tinker. I'd like to have one of those, but I'd rather make one, And so I had an old wallet and some normal thread, just like clothes thread, and I made one out of that. I took the part of the wallet apart, and I didn't know what I was doing, and well, it kind of worked out. I kind of enjoyed it. I was at a leather shop, and they had boxes of scrap leather and outside for $5. So I grabbed a few pieces of scrap leather out of there, and I went in the shop. I said, I'd like these scrap leather. And the lady's like, no, you get the whole box of leather scrap. And that's like this big box of leather. I was like, oh, okay. So I eventually bought a starter leather kit with the tools and the thread, the wax thread, and watched some YouTube videos, of course, and just found my way through it. I didn't even know what all the tools were used for. It wasn't until even a couple months ago that I found out what some of them were used for. So I'm still learning, of course. I just started with that leather scrap, which is already dyed. I think a family member, somebody gave me some veg tan leather. So that's your unfinished leather that's been tanned from usually bark, the tannins in the bark, and they use it in a vegetable-based tanning process to tan the leather and prepare it, to be used for goods. And so it gave me a sheet of that, and I bought some dye, leather dye, and I started playing around with that. Oh, I'm just all into that now. I mean, that's the only way to go, in my opinion, is to make it out of veg tan leather and do that. But, I still make a few things out of the scrap, but that's kind of how I got started. As far as making things for people, Tom at Knife Delights saw one of my videos. I started showing some of my projects. and my stitching was horrifying at that time compared to now. He said, "Hey, well, I got this knife that doesn't have a sheath. It's a buck 116 caping knife." He said, "Well, would you make a sheath for me?" And I said, "Well, sure." And I really struck up a friendship with Tom through that. I said, "You'll have to send me the knife. That's the only way." And he kind of left it to me to do the design, and so I made him a side draw sheath and an upright sheath. I made him 2 sheaths, but that's how I kind of got started doing sheaths for people. Done projects for numerous channels and a couple of viewers. There's a viewer that had a custom fixed blade, and that was like the biggest project. This person just contacted me out of the blue or whatever in the comments, and I was like, "Oh my gosh, you're going to send me your custom fixed blade, as a Wyatt Hines?" And I said, "Okay, I'll do my best." And
I know you did a couple for Jersey as well. And
I did a couple for Jersey and knife slips for the Joker. And
I know what it was. It was the Joker Cocker.
Joker Cocker. That's it. Yeah.
Yeah, because I always give him a little grief over the name of it.
I did one in the Joker colors for him too, just as a bonus, and a green with purple thread.
Green and purple thread. I remember that.
Because it was the Joker knife.
That was a neat idea. Yeah, I like that.
I thought I needed that. So I just enjoy it. It's a fun hobby. It's relaxing, and I support the knife community. It's something I can contribute, and
right.
Of course I, do ask for a little something to offset expenses, but, I don't, I'm not in it to make big bucks or anything.
No.
Done a lot of them for trades.
So I know, there was a time when you were EDCing Benchmade bug out. Is that your preference for a modern knife in that role, or?
Oh yeah. That is. I've wanted a Benchmade for a long time, but it's like, I'm a budget guy, so I didn't know if I'd ever get one, but I did, and I decided on the bug out. This Ranger Green version just kind of got me. I just thought it was cool, and to put a lanyard on here. This is a 38 shell, so I EDC this quite a bit, and because it's just a superb knife in my opinion. I know there's some controversy, but it also I purchased this to kind of commemorate the passing of my mother, and it has her initial on the other side and engraved, so it's kind of a remembrance too. It's pretty special to me. I'm typically going to carry a Victorinox and a modern. Lately, this darn thing, it's been in my pocket. The $6 darling of YouTube is what I like to call it. I heard somebody else call it that. I didn't come up with that, but
the darling of YouTube.
The darling of YouTube. So that's what somebody called it. I was like, yeah, it kind of is. It's like, yeah, there you go. Yeah. What in the world, it's just amazing, even comparing this to the bug out. I'm like,
right.
Well, it's not a bug out. I'd still like my bug out better.
Sure.
But
sure.
I love this a lot. And for $6, I think that's part of it. You can get a knife like this for $6. I probably paid more than that for coffee at one time,
Sure.
So kind of amazing, really. I still prefer Swiss made, Victorinox, or,
Sure.
the USA Bucks, or, some of the other USA brands I've got, Case or whatever. But man, that just opens up to me a whole new world for people like myself that really like to budget their knife collecting as much as possible. Yeah.
What are your top 5 traditional patterns?
Oh man. Top 5 traditional pattern. I like lockbacks, and something like the Buck 55.
That's one of my favorite bucks.
I love lockbacks. I'm really kind of getting into I enjoy jackknives. Kind of a jack pattern like the.
What do you have there?
Jack, Case Texas Jack, and so that's what that one is.
Case Texas Jack. Oh yeah, that's beautiful.
Got 2 blades off of 1 pivot. So,
right.
And so how many is that? 2 so far?
That's 2.
Yeah. I'm loving the canoe pattern. Absolutely love the canoe pattern. I only have 2 canoes, but
what one is that? At the Rough Rider?
This is the buck.
Oh, that's the buck. Okay.
Yeah, I can't remember the number. What is that?
373?
389.
389. There you go.
Yeah. And I have a Rough Rider mini canoe, so I'm enjoying the canoe a lot.
Mini canoe, was that because of Jersey?
I don't know. Does Jersey have one? I'm sure.
Oh, he's a huge mini
several.
canoe. He's got like almost all the Rough Rider mini canoes. He's got a lot of.
Does he really?
Yeah.
But this is the one I picked up recently, and this nice green. I'm loving the canoe. We can get a little shot.
Oh yeah, there. Green smooth bone.
Yeah, green smooth bone, half stop. Yeah. Pin knives. I have several pin knives. Equal end and other versions. So I enjoy those a lot. I don't have a lot of Stockmans. I don't have a lot of trappers, but I did pick up a trapper, and I think I need to be looking for more trappers.
Okay.
That
happy you said that.
Yeah, that one is in. This is a Frost. This was in my latest video, but full size trapper.
Okay, yeah, Frost, yeah.
Frost. And then I don't have many of these, but I'm really liking the trapper pattern. Smattering of different patterns in my collection, and just to get representation. I have a toothpick, peanuts. I mean, I have all, several of them. There are a few I'm missing. The one I'd really like to get, and I think Rough Rider might be the way to go there, is a muskrat. I don't know, for some reason that fascinates me. So I think I'll have to try to pick one up sometime here soon. But I think it's kind of cool.
So money, no object. John, what knife would you buy today?
Oh my gosh. I might like a higher end traditional, like a GEC or a Jack Wolf or, something like that. I don't know that I have a specific model in mind, like a high end or these are hard to find too. The Benchmade Proper, I think, is really a cool knife. Yeah. But yeah, I think that's probably where I would go with that.
All right. So here's a question I haven't asked any of the other interviewees. So this is one a little different. If you could design your own traditional knife, what would it look like? Specifically, what shape, what blade or blades, and what handle material? Oh,
wow. Again, it's hard not to put in Victorinox tools, so I probably have to design one that had some other capability. I've seen some of the customizable Victorinox with the brass handles, and probably have brass handle material and pretty robust spear point blade. Maybe a screwdriver and scissors and that sort of thing, to give some capability, but would have some blade material that would be, a little higher end, something beyond what you would normally find on a Victorinox. Those custom Victorinox are just amazing, in my opinion. It would probably be something similar to that. It would definitely have a pocket clip, almost a 2-inch blade on it. I mean, almost a 3-inch blade. A flashlight and all that sort of thing. No, I think it'd be something like that. Probably not locking, slip joint, but have a pocket clip. I think pocket clips are handy, especially for a larger knife, and that's why I put these tech clips.
Right, I've got a couple on mine as well. I
mean, they work so great. There's no reason to get anything else. Pay $7 for 2 of those, and put that on your Victorinox. That's
all right. Well, that leads us into our fast and furious round here.
Okay.
And some of these you've kind of touched on, so it may have given a little bit of it away, but we'll go ahead and ask you these.
Great.
All right. First up, John, we got pocket clip or pocket slip?
I can't say both, can I?
No.
Well, believe it or not, probably pocket clip. I mean,
really, even though you're the leather guy. That's
even though I'm the leather guy, lots of times I really enjoy a good pocket clip.
All right, Celador or Alox?
Celador, absolutely.
Wenger or Victorinox?
Victorinox.
Corkscrew or Phillips?
Phillips.
Phillips. I agree with that one.
Yep.
A night on the town with Jersey in New Jersey, or a night in a tent in the African wilderness?
I'd have to go with Jersey. I mean, that would be. I mean, The wildlife there, I'm sure, would be a lot more
A
interesting than
little intense.
even though I like being out in the tent. I'd have to experience the other one to see what would happen.
Right. All right. Well, thank you so much, John, for coming on. That concludes our interview. Is there any final words?
Oh, I just want to thank you so much, TK, for your support. It was actually your open tag on the Knife World Tour that kind of first got me noticed by Tobias, who then posted that on the community part of YouTube. And I saw some quite a bit of growth out of that and got exposed to several other channels and that sort of thing. So I appreciate that open tag and Tobias's support and the support from Tom at Knife Delights and Pete and RJ and all the others, so they've been just fantastic. So,
well, I'm glad I could have helped in any way that I did. I probably didn't even realize I was doing it, but okay.
Yeah, I really appreciate it.
But I'm so happy you came on today, and I think the exposure to the channel will definitely, help provide a little more insight to what you're all about. And that's kind of the whole idea of these interviews is to really highlight the channel and kind of get people interested in hearing from other content creators. So I'm glad you came on tonight.
Yeah, thank you.
That's going to do it for the two of us, guys. For JO Ventures Outdoors, I'm Thrifty Kaniffy. I hope you guys enjoyed the interview. Make sure you like, subscribe, and hit that bell to be made aware of videos when they drop. Hope everybody has a fantastic evening, and take care.
Victorinox is that's my thing right there. I love it. The wildlife there, I'm sure, would be a lot more interesting.
A little intense.